crypto speech was a big hit. And I know a lot of smart people love crypto. I know some smart people actually have reservations about it.
Sure.
For our audience, can you just kind of make the case for crypto and people who have concerns and quite frankly don't even understand it? There are a lot of folks out there. I know a lot of people own it, but
yeah, of course. So look, I'm an owner of Bitcoin here, but I'm also the vice president of the United States. So I want to be careful, but I think the core value proposition of cryptocurrency is that it's a way of transacting and a way of storing value in a modern digital age. Look, 100 years ago, if you wanted to go and buy something, you put a dollar bill on the table, you put a gold coin on the table. The value proposition of Bitcoin is that it can serve the same function, but in a digital age, a way that's secure, that's safer from fraud, that allows people to buy and sell and store value, but in a way that's consistent with the modern technological age that we live in. Now, having said that, I fully accept there are risks to all of these things. There are always risks to new technologies. Our approach in the Trump administration is to say, let people innovate. Let people figure this stuff out on their own. If the critics of Bitcoin are right, I happen to think that they're wrong. That will eventually win out in the marketplace. If the advocates of Bitcoin are right, and I happen to agree with them, if they make their case, that's eventually going to win out in the marketplace. What you shouldn't have is a dictatorial government that tells certain industries they're not allowed to do what they need to do. You've got to let people make these decisions on their own. And that's sort of been our approach. We want common sense regulatory regimes. We want to allow the cryptocurrency industry to participate in the mainstream of the economy. But then ultimately, the laws of economics, the laws of supply and demand are going to make the determinations from there.
And we heard the vice president of the United States sitting there telling you that he's a Bitcoiner. He believes in Bitcoin. He believes in the Bitcoin ecosystem. And if you're not paying attention to what's happening, then you might get left behind. And with that, what's happening, Crypto Crew? This is Sean coming back at you, another cryptocurrency video. Getting straight into it, Bitcoin is back up to 118.7K. What do we see? What do we anticipate? Zooming into this price action, we see a macro pullback. This was nothing but a back test from this channel, and the level to pay attention to the upside is the 119.4K. It's on the 5-day channel. Once we see a candle close above 119.4, 119.5, then it's going to be off to the races. This technical target from the macro setup will take Bitcoin up to $340,000. Not financial advice. And right here, whales are loading up on Bitcoin like never before. This is the liquidity inventory and US spot ETF demand. And what to pay attention to in this chart is the orange below. And look at the huge demand spike. This is the accumulator address demand, and we just put in a new all-time high. So every time this happens, the price action follows. So could we be getting ready to see a rip to the upside? It looks like it. Take a look at this chart here, the Bitcoin dominance. It just broke out of this channel. And is this something to pay attention to and be mindful of? Yes. The last time this happened was back in November of 24, and then we had a rally to put in new highs. Now we're extremely out of the channel. The bigger question is, over the next week, will we get back up into this channel? This 50 moving average, we acted as a pogo. We're still above that 50 moving average. The 20 is currently down. So what do we see? What do we anticipate? We have to be patient and wait. We could have a back test of this channel before we see farther price action down, or we could come right back up into this channel. Is alt season here? Well, ETH had a pop, as people have seen, but look at the RSI. The RSI has been just sort of stair-stepping his way down, putting in a low, a lower low, and a lower low. But every single time this happens, the price puts in a lower low. So this is like a bullish divergence, because the price is putting in a higher low here, but a lower low here. So this just seems to be stair-stepping its way down. And could we see a rip to the upside and the rally coming back up to make Bitcoin break this level around the 65 range? Is that what's in the cards? This could be a fake out, guys. Be patient and wait to see till you get some over-conclusive evidence that we're going to see more continuation to the downside. Because if we do fall down, this could come all the way down to the mid to low 40 range. The floor is back down to 40. That's the level to pay attention to if this plays out. But we want to see that 20 cross over this 50 and the price action have some type of continuation to the downside. We heard from JD Vance. Now let's hear from the President of the United States, President Trump, and hear what he has to say about Bitcoin.
Bills passed in the next few months?
Well, it's a very funny thing, crypto. So I became a fan of crypto, and to me, it's an industry. I view it as an industry, and I'm president. And if we didn't have it, China would, or somebody else would, but most likely China. China would love to. And we've dominated that industry. It's a big industry, by the way. In fact, when the stock market went down recently, crypto and Bitcoin and all of that went down much less than anybody else as a group. And we've created a very powerful industry, and that's much more important than anything that we invest in. We invest in it, but really that was an industry that wasn't doing particularly well. I got involved with it a couple of years ago, and before the second term. I got involved before I decided to run. I only decided to run because I saw what was happening, and Biden was incompetent, and the administration was crooked and incompetent. And I was in Bitcoin then, not knowing if I was going to do it a third time. So it's become amazing. I mean, it's the jobs that it produces. And I notice more and more you pay in Bitcoin. I mean, people are saying it takes a lot of pressure off the dollar. And it's a great thing for our country. So I don't care about investing. You know, I have kids and they invest in different things. They do believe in it. But I'm president, and what I did do there is build an industry that's very important. And, you know, if we didn't have it, China would.
And there's the President of the United States giving you his 2 cents on what he thinks about Bitcoin and crypto in general. And he's saying if the U.S. didn't do it, then China would. This is a global arms race for Bitcoin if you don't understand and see what's happening. And right here, we'll talk about metaplanet quickly. Why is this a huge buy? Because look here, this is not financial advice, but look here. Every time we're towards the bottom of this channel, in this channel that we've been going in since 2024, these oversold territories below the white line have been optimal load up zones, and it could be just getting ready to rip to the next leg to the upside. So look here, last time we were down here, we went below, and that was around April of 25, and then in the first half of June, we had that peak out up to about, you know, $15 to $16, depending on what exchange you're looking at. So from April to June, you're talking about a little over 2 months. So if we look 2 months out from where we are right now, you go roughly sometime in mid-October, early November, and the top of this line goes up over $32, so that could be anywhere around $40 to $45, somewhere in this range. Something to pay attention to. Definitely not financial advice. And right here, Bitcoin news, $5 billion Bitwise says 401ks could drive more capital to Bitcoin than the spot ETFs. Retirement capital is coming to Bitcoin. Pay attention to what's going on, because this, you see what happened with the ETFs. The ETFs have gobbled up a ton of Bitcoin since they came into play in early 2024, and the price has went nuts. We've comfortably broken over $20,000 or $100,000 and currently trading over that threshold. Where is this capital going to be pouring in from next? Will this make Bitcoin go up to $200,000-$300,000 over the next 12 to 18 months? This could get extremely parabolic. And we'll leave you with this. Hey, this is just a funny thing we wanted to show. Honey, please wake up our son. Listen, they print the money out of nothing, lend it to you with interest, then tax you for using it. You are the product. Wake up. Buy Bitcoin. Hopefully you're having these types of conversations, because if you don't understand how the money works, the next generation doesn't, they will be lost. And we'll leave you with this quick clip from Michael Saylor. Let's hear from Mike.
I think Bitcoin is digital capital. I think it's going to outperform the S&P index over the indefinite future. And I think it's the clear global monetary commodity in the world.